What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gaming Society Football Show, Week 13, coming down the home stretch. I'm David Anderson. That's Mike Vick. We got a good show for you. We've got a great guest. You will hear about him, hear from him in a little bit. We'll talk some Philly football, but right off the bat, we always talk about our all-in recaps. Mike, you took an L. I got a W. We're now both 4-4.
I took the L, man.
You took the L. You had the Eagles -3.5 over the Giants. No dice.
And, I was riding the wave. And,
Yes.
Daniel Jones proved me wrong. And even though that's been very rare from him, he got his just due, man. And I was a little disappointed in Jalen Hurts. I was disappointed in the Philadelphia Eagles team as a whole because I felt like that was a game we were supposed to win. Somebody texted me and was like, could it potentially be a miracle in the Meadowlands 3 today? I'm like, for my all-in bets, that's what needs to happen.
What did you think about that? Did you see that last play of the game? The Rieger play?
Yeah, I didn't see the last play.
Lots of reactions on the Twitter box. They wanted to compare it to Nelson Aguilera's drop pass and what was going on. I, as a receiver, and I know you as a quarterback, it's tough to peg a loss or a whole thing on one guy dropping or catching a football. I know inside the locker room, that guy was really feeling and apologizing and stuff like that. Everyone's had a couple bad drops or interceptions in their career, but the fans overreact to those things. But you know what the fans do need to talk about? They need to talk about the days 4-4 and his all-in bets, because I did bet at the Bills -6 to beat the Saints. Got that one right. I just feel like the Bills, and we're going to talk about the Bills in our next segment against the Patriots, but the Bills, they needed to rally here. I felt like I remember being in part of those locker rooms where your coach is telling you, hey, we got to go. Otherwise, we're not going to get into the playoffs. And I really think that's kind of where they were at. And we'll have our all-in picks at the last segment of this show. But, Mike, who impressed you week 12? Who was out there that stood out?
The Washington football team. In the conclusion of Monday Night Football yesterday, I was like, this team could potentially be a contender. But I instantly started thinking about what happened along the way. I mean, obviously a 5-7 record right now. It's like things didn't go the way they wanted it to go at some point in the season.
Yeah.
Now, whose fault was that? Was it Taylor Haney? Was it the receiving game? Was it the defense? Lost some guys, lost their best defensive players. Looking at a team that's kind of reviving themselves and still treading water, but, I think they could be a problem. I'm a little afraid of the games coming up versus the Eagles. I don't know if the Eagles going to pass that test, so we got to see. But I was surprised with the football team knocking off Seattle yesterday.
I got one going down, which is the LA Chargers, and one coming up, which is the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. I've been bullish on the Niners. I'm a Kyle Shanahan fan. He was the guy who drafted me, so I'm a sucker for me some Kyle Shanahan. And I think we were bullish on the Chargers earlier on the year.
Oh, sure.
And that has been disappointing. They go to Denver, completely messed that up. They were pushed around that entire game, turned the ball over, red zone turnovers. They had all of the kind of the do not do list happened to them in terms of a football play. And the 49ers came out. They were down, came playing a very good Minnesota Vikings football team. I don't think people give enough credit. NFC is complete. Whole league is chaos right now. NFC chaos, but 49ers showed up. I really like what they're doing. And just like you mentioned with Washington, they got a chance. Anyone's got a chance in the NFC right now.
I mean, you look at the NFC West. I mean, it's loaded, but you look at teams trending in the right direction. The San Francisco 49ers look like the best team in the division all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, I take that back. You still got the Cardinals, but it seemed like it's been so long since Kyler Murray played.
Yep.
You forget about the Cardinals, and they can't afford that. They'll probably sneak up on some teams in the end of this thing. But, the San Francisco 49ers, the run game, I like the way they're using Deebo Samuel, moving them around. They got him in the backfield. They got him at receiver. He's just showing up all over the place. So offense and defense, offense plus defense equals a win.
Deebo is one of those guys. I remember in the Super Bowl, it was his rookie year. I was like, this guy's going to be a hell of a football player. And you know that by, when you're a receiver and you get targets, that's when you know they like you. When they really like you is when they reposition you all over the field, because that means they're trying to get you the ball. And so, like, if you're just watching a game and the guy's getting tailback snaps, slot snaps, out wide snaps, all sorts of reads and whatnot, they're trying to get him the ball, and they're trying to hide him from the defense. That's when you know you got a guy.
That's how you get paid.
Yep.
That's how you get paid.
Now, up next, we're going to keep this simple here. We want to digest the newsletter's most intriguing matchups involving some of the AFC's interdivision battles, and how are they going to impact the AFC title picture up next. Our newsletter's most intriguing matchups this week. I'm almost disappointed to tell you this, Mike, because I feel like we weren't going to have to talk about this team for maybe 2 or 3 years. But it was 1 year off, and now we're already talking about the Patriots again. The Patriots versus the Bills. Everyone thought this was going to be a Bills runaway year. Here comes the Patriots, top of the division. Patriots versus the Bills. Bills are favored by 3. I'm not sure, though. What do you think of this game? This is a tricky one. I would stay away from this.
Favored by 3, really? Yeah, I'm staying away from that one because the New England Patriots have found a formula. They know what they're doing over there. And I almost feel like Bill Belichick, they kind of looked at where they were a couple years ago. And, as Tom Brady gets older, you start envisioning coaching a younger guy. And this is what my team can look like, and we can start all over. This is what he wanted it to look like. They're in total control. Mac Jones understands everything that needs to happen on Sundays through and through. And it's a dangerous football team, Dave. I really think that they can end up in the AFC title game.
And talk about a team that everyone talks about Mac Jones. You really don't know a lot about any other players on that offense. They have a good defense. They almost always do it with some no-name players on defense, with a spot guy here and there that they pick up in free agency or the draft. But this is a Patriots team that was rather overlooked all year and has just reeled off 6 straight victories. The crazy thing about this, and I want you to talk more about finding a formula, because that's something that Belichick has. This is a crazy stat. He's been on a 6-game win streak 14 times in his last 21 seasons.
Yeah.
I never, in my entire career, 6 years, won 6 in a row. I don't know if you did, but break down what you mean when you're really saying they found a formula.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the New England Patriots over the years, since the times they won their first Super Bowl, whether in 2001, they had Kevin Falk, they had Antoine Smith at running back, and regardless of how good Brady looked, they always ran the football, and they always ran it effectively, and they always ran the ball hard and tough, and they played good defense on the other side. From the guys that was on that side of the ball, Ty Law, Teddy Bruschi.
Yeah.
Just good core football players, and just trending all the way throughout the 2000s, early 2000s to now. It's about running the football, and it's about playing defense. And, until Tom Brady got Randy Moss, he was never, down the field guy, explosion offense type of guy. They was dink and dunk, and, he made guys, come to life in the offense, but it's run the football, play defense, don't ask your quarterback to do too much, don't turn it over. Cliche as it comes, that's how you win games. And that's what they've been doing. Now, last thing, Dave, they stick to their run game. They don't abandon the run.
Yeah.
They don't abandon the teams abandon the run so fast. Young coaches can't run the ball. We're done with it. That's why the Dallas Cowboys struggle now.
Yeah, it's and you would know better than anyone. It is a receiver's best friend in a lot of ways, because that's when you have a little play, even a little play action game. That's when a safety comes down, whoop, you gash them. You're running behind people instead of in front of people, and it's always easier to throw. Passing lanes are a lot bigger. Right. This quarterback battle, I think, is really interesting, right? You have Mac Jones, Josh Allen. Everyone wasn't sure what they were going to get out of Mac Jones. Josh Allen, looking like a stud last year. Mac Jones has kind of proven himself and is looking like the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do you think you got other guys like Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, Jalen Waddle? Can you give it to anyone else other than a quarterback that is leading the division right now? I don't see how that happens.
You can't unless guys like Jamar Chase had a continuation of performances like he had against the Baltimore Ravens. Remember when he split Marlon Humphrey in the safety, and I mean went for 200 yards that day. If he would have backed that up, another 100-yard day, 80 yards last week, another 100. Quarterback got the ball in his hands, man. And he's the most influential player on the field, and it's so evident because he always got the ball, and when they win. You got to look at the quarterback stats and his numbers, and Mac Jones is a big part of it.
Here's a question for you. Hypothetical. AFC let's say, because they vote for Rookie of the Year before they actually go to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I think so, right? So say the Patriots win their division and they win, let's say they win 12 games. Let's say Trevor Lawrence did take his team to a 7 wins. We haven't. The crazy thing about Rookie of the Year, the crazy thing about all the rookies, I've never seen this in the history of football. We, as a media, do not talk about Trevor Lawrence. It blows my mind. He's the first pick. No, there's nothing to talk about. Like, how many wins does... My question was, I'm running on for no reason, how many questions would they had to win to make Trevor Lawrence relevant? Like 6 or 7? Like, 6 or 7? I don't even know.
At least 8. I mean, when I look at Trevor Lawrence, I think about Peyton Manning. And I'm like, oh, okay, Peyton had a tough first year, threw a bunch of picks, but it was always that promise, And, I'm looking for that in Trevor Lawrence, but you're talking about Indianapolis, one of the flagship organizations, and then you're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is like a hidden in the National Football League, the market. So that don't help either.
It's it kind of blows my mind that we really don't talk a lot about Trevor Lawrence because coming out of college, he was a surefire gonna win. This is who we're gonna talk about. Blah blah. Number 1 pick, no question about it. Gonna revitalize the organization. And we don't say anything about him. He's not on any of these boards for Rookie of the Year. He's nowhere to be seen in a lot of ways. I wonder what that means out there in Jacksonville and to him. Little off topic as we talk Patriots Bills, but bringing it back, AFC East division champs. So this game this weekend is pretty much probably going to obviously have it's going to determine this in a lot of ways. Yeah. Right now, you got the Bills at -140, so they're still favored to win the AFC East, right. And the Patriots at +115. Who do you like?
I like the Patriots, man, and I don't think people are taking into consideration that the Buffalo Bills lost Tre'Davious White. I mean, I think they lost him to a season-ending injury. We'll have to ask our producer to confirm that, but I'm almost for sure that I seen him on the injury report. If that's the case, then that's going to hurt them. And I think they need as many players as they can get. Josh Allen can't do it all on his own. And you're looking at a New England Patriots team that's just peaking at the right time. And all areas, on all accords, on all fronts.
You got the Patriots +550, the Ravens +500, the Bills +400, but the Chiefs at +330 are still your odds-on favorite to win the AFC Championship. A lot of interesting things are going to come out here in the tail end of this season. As we always talk about, we break this year into quarter. You break a season into quarters. This is the last quarter. This is the last half of the last quarter. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the AFC and the NFC. But this game this week, Patriots-Bills, is going to be a big one. Up next, we got a special guest, a Philly native, to talk some Philly football with Michael Vick. Adam Lefkoe joins the show to discuss if the Eagles are in search of a franchise quarterback, or is Jalen Hurts the long-term answer in Philly, or maybe just an answer for 21 and 22. We'll see next. Into the podcast, we're bringing Adam Lefkoe, Philly native, Syracuse graduate, 2008. You know what? You might see him on TNT. I know when you first popped on, I was like, I recognize that face. I thought
I'm the white guy.
I knew instantly.
You're the classic white guy face?
Well, no, that is true. I've been told I look like many people's friend. You look like my friend Kevin. But when you put on TNT, you're like Shaq, Wade, Candace.
Classic white
I know
dude.
that guy.
Classic white dude.
Yeah.
I like that. I have a
Invite me over
classic
for
white guy
dinner.
named David Anderson, so at least you got a little flair in the name. I have a very... We both represent the classic white dudes in one way or another. So, Adam Lefkoe, welcome to the show. But one thing I did want to mention about Adam that we were discussing.
Don't get into this again, Dave.
You
wasted it on. You wasted it.
No,
Mike
I didn't
record the podcast.
No, I didn't.
Let's get into the Eagles.
I wanted to talk about for a second your card collecting abilities, and I admire that because I am an avid card collector too.
You are.
And I want to tell you, keep it going. Keep it going. I have all sorts of ones. I just finished my USA 1992 Dream Team collection where I got all 3 of them together. I've spent a lot of time on this. We won't spend any more, but I want to say that.
No, that's solid. And I will look. I enjoy. I know that Mike has probably signed 1 million cards in his life, in addition to copies of Madden 2004.
Yes.
But I'm so into sports cards in the hobby. I'm now working with this company called Alt because it's, to me, honestly, it's a next generation. I look at sports fans. They're always looking to collect their favorite athlete. And honestly, if you find Steph Curry 3 years before everybody else, there should be a way that you could take advantage of that. Like if you're riding and dying with some of these guys, I was all over Mahomes that year where he didn't play that first year. And if I would have bought his cards, one recently sold for, I think, $5.3 million.
Wow.
Yeah, Michael. It's crazy.
It's a different world out here now.
We could save a larger segment to talk all the trading cards, but we are going to talk Philly football.
And I do have a lot of Jalen Hurts cards, Dave.
Yes, well, you know what? You're doing the segue for me, Adam, and I appreciate you because we are going to talk Philly football, Jalen Hurts, and the state of the Phillies franchise. And I'm not a big believer in Jalen Hurts. I'm not.
Say it with your chest.
I'm not a big believer in Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
And I'm curious, why are you and why?
Honestly, I really want to turn it over to Vic. Let me say one thing before Vic goes, because I really want to hear what Mike has to say. But the reason that I'm not the biggest believer, I don't believe he's as good as Herbert. I don't believe he's as good as Burrow. But I see a guy that's in the first year of a new offensive system, a guy that he is a gamer, Dave. Like, he is the kind of guy in the fourth quarter.
They're 5-7.
Yeah, but like, okay, there's 22 guys that play. There's 53 on the roster. Like, it's a brand new. I mean, look, Michael say this, and I think he would know. Like, there's been a few games this year where the Eagles allowed like 30, 40 points. Jalen Hurts can't do nothing about that. I think Sunday was a rough game because he threw 3 interceptions, but he has a lot of poise out there. His deep ball is an issue. His arm strength, he does not have Michael Vick's arm. That's for sure. His ability to read a defense, sometimes he kind of locks on one guy. But at the end of games, he makes plays and he is dangerous. And in this world of RPO football, where if you don't have mobility, you're a huge issue to your team. I think he's still young and can develop, but I really want to hear what Mike has to say because this is a Philadelphia quarterback that can move.
Yeah,
fair point.
I'll say this, man. This past weekend was probably the most disappointed I've been in Jalen Hurts and his performance because the way I thought he should have played against a struggling New York Giants football team who was just as desperate as the Philadelphia Eagles to win a game, it didn't go nearly as to where I thought the game would go or how it would play out. And probably one of his worst performances, but they, and Adam, you hit on something, he is young and he's probably in game number 12 of his career.
Right.
Without having all the, bells and whistles of OTAs and mini camps and from last year during the pandemic.
He's going to get his first bye week as a starter next week. Yeah. Like he hasn't even had that moment yet of like, take a step back and breathe and take the check downs and relax.
So I'm waiting to see him become the game breaker because we know the talent is there. So now we got to mess coaching with talent, and then we should get an explosion out of Jalen Hurts at some point.
Do you like their chances to run? Do they have to run all of this to win all 5 of these next ones to get in? Maybe they don't, but do you like their chances of getting in the playoffs?
I think as you look around the NFC, I think the Cowboys are the class of the East. And Washington, as we saw last night, is going to fight. And if I think you put up Washington against Philadelphia right now, I think it's pretty even. But as you look at the rest of the standings at the other divisions, I think that the Bucs are going to win the South, and I think that's easy. I think the Packers are coming out of the North, and I think the West you're looking at, I think the West are going to get 3 teams. So I think the West is putting in Cardinals, Rams, and Niners. So that's 3. Then you got the division winners, Bucs, Packers, and Cowboys. That's 6. So you got one spot. And I think as I look at it, I don't think the Eagles are ready for it this year. But the deciding factor will be what Mike said. When they come out of the bye, does Jalen Hurts go from I'm in my first year in the system, my second year in the league, and I'm game managing to F it, I'm winning these games? Because that's what I think he's capable of. But like he had 7 targets to Jalen Reagor, and he only had 7 targets to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert combined. He still is not going, I need to get it to my guy. Yeah. And I think once he gets it to his guys and he goes, sometimes I need to run. Like I think he's averaging like 8 carries a game. I want him at like 12. But I don't know. I don't know if Vic agrees.
Yeah, especially early right now. And to your point, you got to figure out who your playmaker is. Like who's the guy that's next level? I got to take my game to another level, but who's the guy who's going to be next level when I put the ball in his hands when it's not in my hands? And
Peerless Price. Dude, you have to understand that's what it was. You would run with Vic, and then if Peerless Price had man-to-man, just lob it up.
Hey, Peerless guy, I didn't expect that. But
that's a good reference.
One of my dudes.
That's a good reference.
He was a beneficiary.
Algie Crumpler was your guy.
Algie Crumpler was dude. You always throw the ball at tight end like that.
There's a guy in the history of the game who know how to use a tight end. It's me. Trust me. It's me.
Who was your guy in Philadelphia?
Brent Selleck. Popping, baby. I know how to use a tight end.
Who did you use in Pittsburgh?
Damn, Heath Miller. I had Heath. Yeah, so, I got there so late that it was just.
Yeah, that was different.
I was just telling somebody earlier, I felt like a rookie when I was in Pittsburgh. The offense, like the playbook was like this thick.
Damn.
It was Ben's offense, so, I was playing catch up. But shout out to my man Ben. He showed me the ropes. I was able to get a win or two.
Philadelphia Eagles got the Jets, a bye, Washington football team, Giants, Washington football team again, and I can promise you it's going to be interesting week 18 against Dallas. That is when Jalen Hurts will truly shine because they can get the Jets, Washington Giants, and Washington again, but then it's going to be interesting to come play Dallas. So now, Adam, we do a thing with Mike a lot of times called Quick Picks. We just rapid fire. I want to know your response. And I don't want you to have not a lot of time to think, right? Okay. So you're going to go first this time. Mike's going to go second. So 7 quick picks with Mike Vick is the way we do it. It's all Philly-based. So you be good with the Philly picks here. All right? So we got question number 1. Will Devontae Smith have more than 5 targets?
Yes.
Mike Vick?
Yes.
Who will have the most targets for the Eagles on Sunday? Name a player.
No.
Devontae Smith. Oh, that's Mike Vick's turn. No, he's getting distracted. This is an advantage for me.
It's all right. What do your kids think?
My son, he's 4 years old. He tried to say something. That's why I said
We'll stay Devontae Smith. Will Jalen Hurts, Mike Vick first, will Jalen Hurts rush for a touchdown?
No.
Adam.
I think it's a Jalen Hurts explosion game. 3 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown.
Oh, my goodness. Will the Eagles cover the spread against the Jets? They are 6.5-point favorites. Adam.
At MetLife?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm done. After what just happened, they're unloading all of that stress on the Jets and then going to a bye.
In the bounce back game, yes.
Okay.
Jets just won at Houston. They're feeling cocky.
Best cheesesteak in Philly, Pat's, Geno's, or other?
Mike first.
I can get in trouble for this. Pat's.
Oh.
I am going to go Tony Luke's.
Tony Luke's, other. D. Will the Eagles hold the Jets to under 20 points?
Yes.
No. High scoring game.
Okay, and then the question we all want to know: the Eagles, and this is off your tweet, Adam, talking about Aaron Rodgers. Will the 2022 starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles be Jalen Hurts or not?
I think it will.
Mike Vick?
It will be.
Combination of not a good draft for rookie quarterbacks. They're going to have 3 picks, but they're all going to be kind of late in the 10s and the teens. And I don't think after what we're seeing from Russell Wilson, you make that move. I don't think Deshaun Watson's coming, and Aaron Rodgers is not coming to Philadelphia.
Definitely not.
That's not a thing.
Got a lot of good reads here, but stick around as Adam Lefkoe takes Michael Vick to the Betting Academy to talk the future of NBA bets from title favorites to MVP odds. We got it all. Adam Lefkoe next. Adam, your background, perfect fit for this. The Betting Academy NBA edition. Please, my good friend, take it away. I only know about Western Conference winners, so
perfect.
Go ahead. I'm all ears today.
Michael, do you know what futures are?
No.
Okay, so it's when you're betting on a result like months ahead of time. And so what I have for you is some future bets on who we think is going to win the Eastern Conference, who's going to win the West, who's going to the finals, and who's winning MVP.
Let's get it.
Okay, so why don't we just do this first? Michael, as you look at the Eastern Conference, who is the team that pops to your head right away that you think is going to go to the finals?
Well, first off, I got to pay homage to my Pacers. That's been my team since I was a kid.
What are you winning an Oscar? Just tell me who you.
Pacers.
Rick Pitt, Neil Davis, Travis Best, Jalen Rose.
I want to give a shout out to my chef.
To Detlef Shrimp. Let me give a big shout out to Rick Schmitz or whatever the hell his name is.
Absolutely. I asked you earlier about the Philadelphia 76ers, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, those guys. I feel like they're going to be very competitive. The Miami Heat, they're going to bring some. They'll probably end up in the conference finals for sure.
But I want to know who came to your head right away as we're going to watch them in the finals.
I'm optimistic about my Pacers, but then it just reality set in. First team, Boston. I got to get caught up to speed. I got you. So I'm going to fill you in because you're over here saying the Pacers and the Celtics, and that's why this is Academy. I got you. Okay, real talk. The Miami Heat. Heat.
Miami Heat right now, if you bet the Miami Heat, you'd get good value. Right now, the favorite is the Nets at plus 120. You bet 100, you get 120 back. The Bucks are second at plus 350. The Heat are there at plus 600. So you get pretty good value if you think the Heat are going to go to the finals. They don't got to win it. They just got to go. Yeah. Sixers are next at plus 850, and then the Bulls. Of those, from the beginning of the year, I have said that I like the Nets. But at plus 120, I'm not locking up money. This is where Betting Academy comes in. I'm not going to bet $1,000 right now to try and win I don't even know what that like 1,200, and I'm not trying to win $200, and that's going to happen in 5 months. So if I'm getting a little juice, I'm either going the Bucks at plus 350 or your Heat at plus 600. So that's how I look at it. I got to make money.
That makes sense.
Dave, what would you pick there?
I'm going the Bulls. I'm going way out there with the Eastern
Conference. At plus
Conference.
1,600.
I'm going the Bulls plus 1,600. I think the Nets they're going to run out of gas too soon. I do like the Bucks, but I don't know why I've been feeling the Bulls lately.
And so, Mike, that's how you just lose money. You just give it, and you're just burn it.
No, you bet 50. You bet $50 and you win 800. That's what you do with the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's true. You could take a flyer. Okay, Western Conference. Right now, the Warriors are the favorite. Because if I ask Mike who he's going to bet on, he's like, the Pelicans are interesting.
I got to think so.
Big shout out to Chris Paul and the Suns.
Warriors are the favorite right now to represent the West at plus 300. Then the Lakers at plus 380. Suns at plus 450 are in third, tied with the Jazz at plus 450. And then at 5 is the Clippers at plus 900. So, Dave, why don't you go first? Which one odds do you like the most?
I'm an LA native, although I think this Laker team reminds me of when they brought in Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and all a bunch of old guys to try to win. They did get to the finals and lose to the Pistons, so I do like them coming out of the Western Conference still at plus 380. They are built for playoffs.
What do you think, Mike?
I like the Suns. I'm
Good
a big
pick.
fan of Mikal Bridges. CP3 deserves one. Got to give it another go. Devin Booker, yeah.
And right now they're in the middle, as we're recording this, on a 16-game winning streak, so they're hot. I before the season, for some reason, I like Payne, and I thought maybe the Jazz, this was going to be their year. So I would go Jazz at plus 450. They're so good that one year they're not going to disappoint us, I hope. What about winning it all? So you liked Boston and the Suns, Mike. I don't have Boston's odds, but to win it all, the Nets are the favorite, and then the Warriors, then the Lakers, the Bucks, and then the Sun and the Jazz. Who do you like winning it all?
The Warriors.
Plus 600. That's pretty good for as good as they look right now.
Like the Warriors.
Getting Klay Thompson back eventually.
When is he going to come back?
He's going to go to Santa Cruz, I believe, soon to get some reps in and stuff. Yeah. But I think him, Jamal Murray, and a few of the, like maybe Kawhi, are expected after January. So once we have Christmas Day, that's when everybody reevaluates. Dave, I like the Bucks at plus 800. I just feel like they're a sleeping giant. They're there. Giannis, they're going to be motivated.
They don't seem like a repeat type team to me. That's the thing. Is like I like what they did last year, but they relied too much on one-on-one basketball. Remind me of when the Cavs won that.
Got role players, Dave.
The Cavs won. They're all role players, but then with 2 minutes left, they just give the ball to Giannis every game. I don't think that works.
If Giannis shoots like 80% from free throw, like he did in the finals, I don't know how you stop him though.
They call too many fouls for that guy. It's absurd. It's like pickup basketball. The guy that gets free foul before he even takes a foul and one.
All right, last one because I know I'm taking too long. MVP odds. Steph Curry is your resounding favorite right now. Plus 135. KD is at 2 at plus 500. Giannis, if he was going to go a back-to-back-to-back, plus 750. Or Jokic would be back-to-back. He's at plus 1,200. And then Luka at plus 1,800. It feels like it's Curry's to lose right now, Dave.
Yes. Yeah. Steph Curry all the way.
Steph Curry.
If I'm putting anything, it's on KD. Because with Curry, he's going to get Klay back and they're going to go, oh, what a great team. And Curry's the head of it. But if KD does it without Kyrie and somehow gets the Nets on a roll, he could grab the narrative late. But I don't know if you bet against Steph Curry right now.
No, you can't bet against him right now. I also don't think KD in the Nets. They're trying to find an identity, kind of. Like they struggled in the beginning of the year. Steph has just taken over. Like there's not a game that he hasn't looked just amazing. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how.
Everybody loves him. Like I don't know.
He got a little fired up last night against the Clippers, or a couple nights ago against the Clippers. I like that.
It's good.
A little edge.
Who is okay? Before I go, Mike, who is the Steph Curry of the NFL? I think it's Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's Kyler Murray.
Ooh, that's a good answer, Kyler Murray.
I think it's Kyler Murray.
We're gonna roll out with that
again.
We're
Michael?
gonna roll out with that. We're gonna roll.
Is
out
Kyler
with
Murray ever
Murray.
gonna play again, Michael?
He will win the MVP
before
he dies.
Adam, they milking it right now. They milking. They 9-2. They feeling.
They're resting him.
Yeah, they milking it over there. So yeah, let him heal up. Don't be like Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, well said. Up next, the Gaming Society Fantasy Football League. I am garbage now. It officially, my team sucks. There's a complete reshuffle in the top 5, including a new leader. Paul Pierce is not on the top. Next, when we come back. And we're rolling into fantasy football. I have not been looking forward to talking about this because I was talking a lot of shit in the beginning of the year as I was just rolling people. I thought I was the data guy, was going to tell everybody what's what. And all of a sudden, Alvin Kamara doesn't want to play football anymore, and Amari Cooper drops out from COVID issues. And I don't have a good running back. I lost half my receiving core. I'm going to make this part of the segment about me. And our fantasy football team just turned to shit. But you, Mike Vick, are climbing up while I'm going the other way. You defeated Andre Reed. I lost again, I think, for the 6th week in a row to Commissioner Tate Lubu, Tate Frazier, who I think has won 6 in a row. It's yeah, it's frustrating. I can't get on the best manager of the week list. I can't get on anything. Best manager of the week was Jamie, CEO of Gaming Society. She's putting some effort in here. I appreciate that. Worst team is Marissa. Now, here's what's interesting. We got the matchup we all want to see on the field. Now we get to see it off the field. Week 13, Michael Vick versus Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Earlier in the year, you could beat Ray because he might not pay attention. He might get a guy that doesn't have a bye or something like that.
Well, he got help.
He's getting some help. He's got some guys. And he's still all his players are healthy.
Yeah.
So
Ray, he climbing the charts right now.
He's doing all right.
He's the manager of the month.
I got Dickerson, who hoards all the tight ends, but that tends to work. But you know what I find most interesting about fantasy is this time of the year, no trades. You got to deal with injuries. You got to deal with IR. You have to make some decisions. And you, in particular, have had some interesting decisions to make. And I think it's actually a really interesting topic in general. Russell Wilson. Yeah. He's only been getting you a couple points here and there.
Yeah.
Seems like his off-field struggles are affecting on-field issues. Obviously got injured. Break this down a little bit for me, right? Like, what are we really looking at with Russell Wilson? Is this a last year in Seattle? Is this just what happens as you get older? What's going on?
I mean, potentially, Russ got to kind of look at his career as, I've been here for 8-9 years, and we've had a good run, and we had some ups and downs, and way more good than bad. But the harsh realities of the NFL is that some guys don't stay in certain places forever. And even Aaron Rodgers was thinking about leaving Green Bay last year. So, we all renting space, and they had a good run. Russ talked about it this past offseason, and now things may be coming to light. Those comments that he made and those feelings might be catching up with him because, when you check out, man, not saying that Russ checked out, but when you start talking about leaving, you already done left. It's like talking about retirement.
Yeah.
I'm talking about retirement, you already retired.
Yeah.
So to see what's happening now and Russ being a shell of himself, because that's what he is, it's very surprising. And I was looking at my fantasy last night, like, Russ, get one completion. When have we ever begged for Russell Wilson to get a completion?
I had DK Metcalf. I didn't get a catch till the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he didn't have a completion to the fourth quarter. So, I just know Russ is in a situation he's never been in before. Unfamiliar territory, but, it's a situation he's got to fight through. But he's not the first person to go through it. It won't be the last.
Did you have anything like that in your career?
Yeah, well, towards the end of my career, in Atlanta, I knew going into my 7th season, the year I never made it out to the field on, that could have potentially been my last year. And I knew when it was over in Philly, when I was, in my 5th season with Philadelphia, Chip Kelly was the coach, and you could just feel the changing of the guard. Nick Foles came in. I had a hamstring injury. It was like, it was just time for change, and it. You can sense it.
That's what I think is interesting is you can feel it from Pete Carroll. Obviously, everyone talks about his age and kind of losing a little bit of the locker room. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know what that means in losing the locker room. I've seen it, right?
The message gets stale.
The message gets stale. The guys have heard it too many times, and he's not. I tell you what, he's not going back to USC because that Lincoln Riley locked that scene up for a while. But it is interesting to think about how this. We think about it as players, former players, current players. We put that hat on. It's kind of fun to wear that hat as a fantasy owner and think about like how this does affect my team because you almost become a general manager in a lot of ways, right? Like what is the general manager of the Seahawks saying? He's saying, can I get some value from this guy? Yeah. Where do we tank this season? What do I do with other players? It's interesting.
Well, even thinking about getting some value, last night's film won't help.
Yeah.
And the film from the week before won't help. So he got to find a way to pick it up. If he want to be one of the hottest, I guess, guys going into free agency or seeking trade next year, your film still got to match to your name. That'll never change. You know that, Dave?
Yeah. It's I'm dealing with this right now as a fantasy owner. You are what your record says you are, right? And that's something that we talked a lot about with like the Minnesota Vikings is that, they're in all these overtime games and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You're in a lot of overtime games because sometimes you blow a lead and you don't know how to win. Sometimes you're playing from behind and you get lucky. Sometimes you're in a really tough battle, back and forth battle, and you're in overtime and you still can't figure out a way to win. It's all about a win, right? And I think that's one thing I always admired about Belichick. Whenever he talks about stats and whatnot, he's like, all that matters is did we win, right? Yes. And I think that's what you got to do on the field. You got to win your one-on-one battles. As a team, you got to win your games. And on fantasy, winning right now in first place in the winning column is Paul Pierce. The Truth is still leading the league.
Shout out to the Truth.
There's something to that hookah that he's got over there that he's got some magic in that thing. The commissioner, Tate Leabu, is now in second place, KG in third, and you yourself are in fourth place, Mike Vick. I am right now out of the playoffs. I got 1 or 2 weeks, I think, to get in. I don't know how. I think it's week 17. 17 weeks has changed everything, even for fantasy. But I need to get my ass in gear. I need to stake one of those spots. Got to get 6 people get in. Otherwise, my ass is out of fantasy football. And we're going to talk fantasy football every week. We're going to definitely, Mike Vick and I are always going to bring that little player perspective into fantasy. So up next, we got my favorite part of the show, the All In, where you can take advice that we had from Adam. We got advice from Mike. You got some learnings about the decision we made earlier in the week. Our All In bets, All In pick of the week's up next. We're back, our all-in section. This is where Mike and I really break down Week 13 all-in pick of the weeks. Mike, you know who's playing. You know what the odds are. Who you got? All-in pick of the week.
My all-in. My childhood team, the San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh.
The Seattle Seahawks. I expect Jimmy Garoppolo to continue to play at a high level. I love the running game. Debo out for a couple weeks. I don't think that's going to hurt us. I'm talking about us. See how I get.
You're already in. You're already all in. So now it's us. You can roll with that. Roll with
49ers over the Seattle Seahawks, man. We get the dub.
Why are they your? That was just you like the colors. You like Steve Young. What was that? Why is that your childhood
Steve Young,
team?
Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ricky Waters, Brian Young.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
My childhood favorite team was the Cincinnati Bengals because of those dope-ass helmets, and that is my all-in pick of the week as well. Bengals -2 over the Chargers. Back earlier, we were talking about how disappointing the Chargers were. They're still on the road again. I think they're going to struggle against the Bengals. The Bengals trying to make the playoffs here coming out of their division. They got a chance. They look good. I like where Joe Burrow's at. I do like this Chargers football team still, but I like these Bengals more, and I like them certainly at home. I think the LA Chargers more than the 49ers. It's funny you picked the Niners because that was my pick like this. So we'll see come week 13 all-in bets of the week. Now our all-in bet of the week, Mike, you got the 49ers. You're a little wrinkle to this. What is your all-in player of the week? Who do you think has got probably the best chance of having the breakout week, great game this week?
All-in player, I'm going Jimmy G.
Why's that?
There's been a lot circulating with Jimmy G over the season. You know the emotional roller coaster that Jimmy G has been on. It hasn't been clean. It hasn't been easy. It's been a lot of controversy, a lot of scrutiny. But I really think that he grabbed control of the offense the last couple of weeks and said, look, this is my future. I think he'll be traded next year. He got a lot to play for. And sometimes when you're in those adverse situations, you rise to the occasion, man. So I think this is a week where he continues to get better. He's smiling. He's having fun. I look at that as a sign of confidence from any quarterback. And, I think Jimmy G keeps it going another week.
I think I'm going to go with another NFC West quarterback, Matt Stafford. I think every now and then you have these games that they're up and down. You're trying to figure out who you are. He just got a new weapon, and they were trying to do it on Monday Night Football with Odell Beckham. They got the Jaguars flying all the way across the country, a 2-9 football team coming out here to L.A. I think they're going to pick them apart. right? Jacksonville's really kind of struggled on defense. They haven't really been able to put it together. I look for Stafford. Mainly I look for Sean McVay to game up Jacksonville, game up Urban Meyer a little bit, and allow him to get comfortable with these new guys that he's got. I feel like he hasn't been able to get comfortable where they're at, where he can expect them, because he doesn't get any practice reps. He's just kind of thrown in the wild there. My all-in player of the week, Matt Stafford. With that, we're going to come back. We got a little rundown here of some other sports. Mike Vick, for all of you that don't know, knows his boxing. So I'm excited to get Mike Vick's thoughts on boxing for this weekend.
Definitely.
You don't have to worry about teams in boxing. And I don't know diddly squat about these guys. So I need you to teach me up. WBC lightweight titles on the line. Yeah, Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz.
Yeah.
Preach to me.
Yeah, Devin Haney is he's a young fighter who, if you go look at some of Floyd Mayweather clips, you'll see some of Mayweather and Haney. He's very talented, super skilled, very crafty, hard to hit, fight with a lot of ring IQ. And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get outboxed, and you'll lose all 12 rounds and never even know what hit you. Similar to like a Shakur Stevenson or somebody like that, just come in and just take you all the way out your game. Jojo Diaz, gonna come forward, tough guy. He's a brawler. He's a brawler. So look for Haney to try to pick him apart. Keep his distance, use his jab. But I'm really, I'm devastated by the Teofimo Lopez loss. He lost to Kambosos this past weekend. I didn't expect that. It was a mandatory. He had to take that fight. And I'm pretty sure he probably didn't want that fight. But Kambosos was really confident, man, and thought T.O. was going to be one of them guys who's on top. So I was looking forward to seeing that Devin Haney-T.O. matchup down the road. Now it's Gervonta Davis, Shakur. It's good boxing, man, good boxing.
Unbelievable. I don't know. I think I know one of those names you
referenced.
Just
for the people.
I love that you like boxing.
I
I just find that fascinating because you never know what sport guys get into. Because I could go a little baseball, I could go basketball. Certainly haven't done any boxing. I appreciate that. Breakdown. And that's a Gaming Society football show with a little boxing spice there from Mike Vick. I'm David Anderson. That's Mike Vick. Week 13 gaming show. We're out. Make sure to sign up and subscribe at thegamingsociety.com and hit that follow button at The Gaming Society on all social platforms.